100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to pick it, and our running back coach didn't take the biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Good morning to the Martin and Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaXSports. We're glad to have you as a part of the program. I want to invite you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. We're live, local, and ready to get things going on your radio dial at Tide 100.9, and of course live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Martin Houston 35 on YouTube and Facebook. On YouTube and Twitter, and Facebook, the Martin Houston 35, and Martin Houston fan page 35. So Martin Houston 35 fan page. I'll get that right in a minute. So glad that you've chosen to make us a part of your routine. We want to get right into the conversation. We got a lot to get to. But before we get into that, I want to remind you that this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. And once again, if you are just now getting up and at 'em with us this morning, the playbook for today has a lot to get to, and that is a Football Friday score predictions, with the tiebreaker being total yards for the Alabama offense. So score predictions, we're taking those all morning long. You can call in or you can post them in chat. Also, the inside the playbook, we'll pick a couple more things there. Also, players of the game, keys to victory. And I want to remind everybody that tonight, if you happen to be at home and not going out to watch a high school game, if you want to watch Friday Night Rivals game of the week, we had Clay-Chalkville versus Pell City. I'll be calling that game with James Verrett tonight on my 68 locally. And then, of course, you can get it on a couple different apps and that way as well. So, of course, Pell City coached by Rush Probst. So trying to rebuild another program. And so we'll see if he's able to get that moving in the right direction. So we'll be calling that game tonight up in Pell City. So tune in for that. Looking forward to that. And I'll tell you that information again later on. But good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. We ended yesterday's program as we were talking about inside the playbook, and and I love doing that. And we had talked a little bit about the pass rush and how to use play calling to help slow down the pass rush. And we had Nick Saban, talking about what was going on with him, and he talked about that defensive line. And Texas last year, you have to kind of think about the Texas Longhorns last year. They're back, right? Is every team back based on the fact of how they play Alabama?
That seems to be the standard.
Because you look at it, Texas has been back every year for 5 years, or 10 years, or every time they look like that, they're back. So, you look at that game last year, and it was a barn burner, if I can steal something from down off the plains. But was it because Texas was good or because Alabama was historically bad? I think between Alabama's 3 losses, I think they had over 40 penalties. Noah, look up
Something like that.
look up and see how many penalties Alabama had in the Texas game, Tennessee game, and LSU game. Between those 3 games, see how many penalties they had. I think they were in the teens in all 3 of those games. And so it was really, really bad play in several key things. With that said, Sark had a couple things figured out. Okay. And that's what we were talking about. So we're going to start off inside the playbook, X. If you look at what Sark had figured out, one of the formations that gave Alabama tremendous trouble was he came out and he went to an 8-man protection. Now think about that for a second. Not 7-man protection. 8-man protection, which means he had a 2-man route. He had Worthy and one other receiver in the route combination. And I don't know exactly how many total times he ran that, but I know he ran it at least 3 times with 3 different plays. Okay. So what do you do? I mean, well, first of all, why do you think he did that? That's what you need to answer. Number one. Number one is you need to understand if a coach is willing to go to a 8-man protection scheme, X, he has seen something in the way you do defensively in your defensive backfield that he thinks he can get one-on-one and beat you one-on-one, and you're not gonna that you he knows that he can get that guy that normally has the quarterback involved somewhere else. Okay. Because if not, if you go one-on-one and the free safety is free, then he has the advantage. So he knew something in the alignment that he could do. How would you attack a defense, or what do you think he saw? And I'll talk about it. What do you think he saw that made him trust in that formation that much that he went to it multiple times? And by the way, the 3 plays that I reviewed, all 3 of them were completions for big plays.
Yeah, well, the number one reason is the fear of the Alabama pass rush. When you had Will Anderson Jr. and Dallas Turner on the field, and then in certain situations when you had the cheetah package that put Chris Braswell on the field with those 2 other guys. 3 high-end pass rushers, 2 guys, one guy that's already been a first-round draft pick, another guy who's projected to be a first-round draft pick, and a 3rd guy who can work his way into that company. So that's the number one reason. 2, he believed that his best guy could win one-on-one because of the zone coverage or the one-on-one man coverage that Alabama would play behind that look and that pass rush, because Saban and Golding had a lot of belief that front could get to the quarterback. So that's why they were okay with a little bit more man-on-man, leaving guys on the islands, and he took advantage of it. Terrion Arnold and Kyrie Jackson, who's now at Oregon, struggle a lot in those situations one-on-one with guys last year. And Sark knew if he put the right route combination. It didn't matter if it was 2 guys in the route or 5 guys in the route. His best guy could win. And Xavier Worthy did.
Yeah, and so taking it even deeper, guys, most of the time, Saban's zone is still some version of man. Okay, I mean, we struggle to play true zone. Alabama does not traditionally play true zone coverage. Even zone has an element of man in it. But here's the other part. When you put those receivers out there, Xavier, you're right. It was about protecting the quarterback. He felt like if he gave his quarterback time, he could give his guys were better than our guys. That was number one. And even though they had an 8-man coverage, they had a running back chipping on Will Anderson. And then he would either chip and stay or chip and be a safety valve. So it didn't matter. They were going to win in that situation because our linebackers in the way they played. But the wide receiver was winning. Here's the other part. With the way Alabama lines up, the front receiver gets the best coverage guy. The stack receiver gets the second best coverage guy or the safety. Okay? So they were, or the motion guy. What do you use motion for? To show you what the coverage is, whether it's zone, whether it's man, whether it's some type of combo coverage or whatever. He would shift that guy over, Xavier, and then he knew who had Worthy. And the first one, I won't give it in order. One time he ran a deep go route with Worthy on Kyrie Jackson, caught it. He ran a deep out, which looks like it's going to be what? A deep go route.
A go.
Yeah. And then he cuts it off open. Then he comes and he goes all the way across the field because now you're protecting the outside and the guy goes across the field away from the coverage on a crossing pattern because the 8-man coverage, now you see the 8-man box. And what do you try to do? You try to bring enough people to get past it. And then the receiver comes in behind that coverage. So Sark is a genius at what he's doing. But the question is, can Kevin Steele counteract that? I think Sark's biggest advantages are gone. What were those advantages? We'll talk about it on the other side. We're looking for your score predictions. We'll talk about Alabama's keys to victory. We'll talk about Texas wins if you want to get in on the conversation. The Alabama One hotline is open for business, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. That conversation and more continues right here on your home for Alabama sports. Hey, don't forget, go check out Billy's Cooking Restaurant. Go check them out for the weekend. Grab you some wings and go back and enjoy the game. 205-632-8617. They open at 11 o'clock Wednesday through Sunday. Today is Fish Friday, and you got Soul Food Sunday sandwiched in between football Saturday. Go check them out, Billy's Cooking Restaurant.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things looking pretty good on the roadways on this Friday morning. Now, of course, if you see conditions folks need to hear about, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Come grab an amazing deal at Townsend Nissan. Offers like these, most new units are discounted from $2,000 to $8,000. Don't wait. Shop Townsend Nissan today. I'm Captain Ray.
I was 38 and expecting my first baby. The pregnancy was high risk due to my age, so I required constant monitoring. My nurse Hannah was so compassionate. She answered all of my questions and took care of every need. At one point, my blood pressure dropped. Hannah kept me calm and called in help. Thankfully, all went well with the delivery, and now I have a beautiful baby girl. At the DCH Women's Pavilion, you can tell they love bringing babies into the world.
DCH, champions for your health.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
They're back. The 2023 Alabama Crimson Tide football season is on Tide 100.9. Saturdays are game day all day, starting with the Tide 100.9 tailgate show, hosted by DC and former Tide star Christian Miller. Listen as they take you to the sideline and the locker room for all the latest game day news and insights that will get every Tide fan ready for kickoff. Don't miss the Tide tailgate show with DC and Christian Miller on Tide 100.9, powered by Pearl River Resort, your destination for casino thrills, family fun, and live entertainment. Tide 100.9, Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny sky today, not as humid. The high 87, clear and very pleasant tonight, the low 62. And the weekend looks good. A sunny sky tomorrow and Sunday. Highs in the mid to upper 80s between 86 and 89 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 64 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaXSports. I'm Martin Houston. That's Xavier Houston. And the Alabama One hotline is open for business. This is the sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team, the fastest hour in sports radio. Get your scores in now. Tiebreaker, Alabama total yards. You can call us and get them in at 205-342-9904. We'll get you in, get you on, get you off. Or you can just post them in right there. Last week's winner was Philip. Philip nailed it, 56-7. And of course, we only had 64 plays last week, so just above the average of 62.4 the first couple of weeks. Alabama was just above that average. Will Alabama hit more plays than that this week against Texas? Maybe, maybe not. If we have 64 plays, but we take our time, I think that'll be just what the doctor ordered. We're looking for keys to victory for Alabama. We're looking for position plays the biggest role in the league. You know, who's going to be the player of the game? Now, at the beginning of the program, Xavier, I was talking about, everybody always talks about these teams being back because of how they do against Alabama. I'm gonna hold that. I'm gonna hold that because I asked Noah to look up the penalties that we had in these games that we lost or that we played close. I'm gonna just hold that. We were talking about inside the playbook. Just Sark did some nice things, but he had a huge advantage last year. He had a huge advantage. You know, Bill O'Brien is not very creative. So, and there's a lot of footage on Bill O'Brien's offense. Bill O'Brien is sort of, I could coach Tom Brady, you know what I'm saying? I could coach Deshaun Watson, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, okay. I could coach Bryce Young. I could coordinate those guys. And then he knew that Saban has a way he runs his defense, and Pete Golden wouldn't challenge any of that. And so he knew what Pete was going to do at all times. I think Kevin Steele changes things. And so Sark's advantage of what he had last year is gone. You know what the other advantage is gone, X?
What's that?
We knew nothing about Ewers. We didn't know who he was, what he did, what he liked. That's gone. So who has the advantage now? What's the advantage now? So we'll get it in. All right, welcome in everybody. Once again, we're looking for your scores. We got Blind Squirrel Sport giving us a few thoughts. Bama 41 Shorthorns, as he calls them, 24. He said 67 plays. The tiebreaker this week is total yards. So total yards is the tiebreaker. We got Robert X in on the Alabama One hotline for a score prediction. Robert, you're in. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, guys.
Hey, now.
You asked who I think is going to be the player of the Hey, guys.
Yeah.
You asked who I think is going to be the player of the game? That's what your question was?
You can answer that question, and you can give us a score, whatever you got.
Oh, okay. Well, we said before who's the player of the game, but I'm hoping it's Jalen Milroe, so I'm going to say Jalen Milroe. Say Jalen Milroe.
That's right.
So, because we need him to be the stud quarterback for this season for us. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to run that gauntlet, which is Alabama's schedule. The only team with a tougher schedule than Alabama this season is, by default, is always Auburn, because they had to play us in Georgia. Yeah. Everybody we play plus us in Georgia. I'm sure Auburn's going to be the biggest team who will be happy to end division so they can get out of this curse there and been there forever.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a big game from Alabama. I think, everybody thinks it's going to be close. I guess it can be. Of course, it can be close. Texas isn't Middle Tennessee State. But, man, I think they're looking to make a statement. So I predicted a big score on the Ryan show. So I'm looking for Alabama to score 40 and Texas around, 21, something like that.
So
I think we beat that spread.
So you got Bama. You got Bama 40 what?
42. I'll go 42.
42. Texas what? 21?
21.
And what's the total
Yeah,
yard?
I'm looking at this. Let's see, total yards. I'm going to go 385.
385. All right. You got anything else for us?
Nope. That's pretty much it. I think we're going to
Milroe's
going to show you the real deal.
I think that Milroe, I have Milroe as one of the candidates for player of the game. But let me ask you, what position do you think has the greatest impact on the game, other than the quarterback?
Secondary. Cornerbacks. That's what got us last year.
Okay.
Our corners killed us last year on a lot in Tennessee and Texas. Allowing those deep balls or being out of position, or with Pete Golden's great defense, looking to the sideline, 1 second before the ball snap. If I think they're going to eliminate that, where they're not 1 second before the ball snap. Our defense still looking at the sideline, figuring out what to play, and then and be ready. And I think that makes a difference.
All right. That sounds good. Appreciate you, Robert, man. We'll be looking for you to give us the buzz on Monday. You got it. 42-21 with 385. All right. So X, when you look at that's a couple interesting predictions there. As we keep the conversation going there on not player of the game, but position group. He said cornerbacks. I would probably say the secondary is going to have great impact on the game. What are your thoughts? And I'll circle back on my position group. I have a different position group, and I think whichever either Alabama or Texas position, this one position, whichever one has the biggest game ends up winning the game.
Yeah, I was going to lean the secondary as well, but just to be a little different, I'm going to say outside of the secondary, it's got to be the defensive line for the defensive side of the ball, getting pressure on Ewers, getting him off of his spot. And I think they have to work in tandem really well throughout the course of this game. If the secondary isn't letting guys get open, that gives the defensive line more time to get to the quarterback. But in reverse of that, if the defensive line is getting pressure on Ewers, that means the secondary has less time that they have to worry about guys running all over the field trying to get open.
Yeah.
So those two groups really work tandem in tandem when you watch the game of football.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the cornerbacks, I think you can look at it a couple different ways. And to your point, I think that it's going to be pressure. One element of the game that I think is going to matter is pressure. Whether it's from blitzing, stunning, twisting, looping. And if we see an 8-man front, as we were going off the air yesterday, I said you can't play that vanilla. As we look inside the playbook, if they come out with an 8-man front, we have to have some TEs, which means tackle in loops and stunts, or some where you have the defensive end and the tackles looping and twisting and stunning. You can't just run straight at, if you have 4 or 5 guys, you can't run straight at those guys. You have to try to get them confused or get somebody missing somebody or sending a blitz. So look for loop stunts or blitzes coming to try to create pressure if they come out in that 8-man front. And so Deontay Lawson will be really important with that. But creating pressure will be the element of the game. I think the cornerbacks, the reason I did not say cornerbacks or the secondary, is I think they're going to nullify each other, meaning I think that the wide receivers for Texas are going to win some, but I don't think they're going to have the game like they started off having last year. I think our coverage in one-on-one is going to be improved. I think Kool-Aid's going to be who Kool-Aid is. I think Arnold is better. I think you're going to have Amos, who is going to help us be able to put him out there, and we're going to be able to put some coverage guys in those safety positions. And so instead of Branch, it was one time where we had Branch and Hellum covering Worthy on one of those passes. Think about that for a second. Branch and Hellum. You're not going to see that Saturday. We're not going to let that happen. So I think that's going to nullify. And then I think so. And I think that's going to happen on both sides. I think our receivers are going to win some. I think their DB is going to win some. I think the O-line and D-line are going to watch. I think Milroe has to have a big game. But the position that I think impacts the game is the tight end position. I think 0 for them or 84 and company for us is the game changer. I don't know why I'm feeling that, but I like what I saw out of. Go ahead, you ready to say something? Go ahead.
Well, just real quick, were you surprised at all last week in the Bama game that it was Knobloch and Lewis as the top 2 tight ends?
Not really, because I think that Knobloch has shown that he was elevating. I think Lewis has just continued to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I also wouldn't read too much into that. I think it's based on scheme. I think Dupree and Oots is more of an H-back. So it's really based on where we decide to go. I think that room is interchangeable after Knobloch. So don't be surprised that Dupree played. I think that Dupree, I don't know if
he played a lot.
I'm not sure he didn't come in first before Lewis, but I think Lewis may have gotten the floor of the game a little better. So, but I think that position, I'm being told I got to get the break, but I think, and Virgil Williams said it's tight ends for him. I think that position, I'll tell you what I think about that position on the other side. Stay tuned for more conversation right here on the Sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team with Martin Houston. Go check out Taco Casa for your lunch needs today. Lunch and or dinner, Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. 6 locations in Tuscaloosa and West Alabama to better serve you.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things looking pretty good on the roadways on this Friday morning. Now, of course, if you see conditions folks need to hear about, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Come grab an amazing deal at Townsend Nissan. Offers like these, most new units are discounted from $2,000 to $8,000. Don't wait. Shop Townsend Nissan today. I'm Captain Ray.
All of the West Alabama high school football scores every Friday night all season long on Tide 100.9. High school score updates brought to you by 4th District Congressman Robert Adderholt.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Endless Summer Sale, September 1st through the 11th, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $31.14. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Football is back, and no one does it better than the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This season, you can watch the games with nothing on the line. Boring. Or you can make a play in the starting lineup. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you into the big plays with big bets and big wins, making every game more exciting than ever. It's time for the sports glory you deserve without breaking a sweat. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game. Must be 21.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, of Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
This Alabama football season, join Kerry Clark, Mark McGriff, and Matt Coulter for the most comprehensive postgame coverage of the Crimson Tide. The Tide Postgame Show, live from Walk-On Sports Bistro. Walk-Ons, 675 Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, burgers, bone-in wings, salads, and gumbo. The Tide 100.9 and 95.3 The Bear Tide Postgame Show will be live after every Bama football game. Catch Coach Saban's postgame press conference and the Walk-On's keys to the game. Plus, we'll take your phone calls live. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win. 675 Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa. And online at walkons.com. The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Ewer sprinting out, reverses, lets it go wisely, and just throws it out of the end zone. And a flag.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 15. Defense. Punishment, driving the quarterback into the ground.
His non-passing shoulder. Second down and goal at the 1. Here's Robinson, and he'll walk into the end zone for a touchdown. Bijan Robinson.
Watch Gunnar Helm. He's going to get on the outside here, and he's got Brian Branch, and that's the key block. Good lead block by 90, and then Robinson.
That was 2 plays that absolutely changed the feel, the flow, and the atmosphere of that game, making it 10-10. Bijan Robinson scoring a touchdown, making it 10-10, and Ewers getting hurt. Okay, Ewers getting hurt in that game. So you look at that and you go, okay, Ewers got hurt on that play, and that absolutely changed the game, is what everybody says. Okay, so he's out this year. I mean, he's out for the rest of that game. But the other side of that is Bijan Robinson is out for this game, right? He's gone. He's in the league. Nobody's talking about the impact of Bijan Robinson on the passing game. You have to account for him in the passing game, both as a runner and as a receiver. They don't have that type of impact player. What type of impact will that have on this year play calling for Kevin Steele and company?
Yeah, no, I think it has a huge impact on the game. I mean, when you play action, you hold guys because Bijan's a threat. You get the ball out to Bijan in the flat. Not only in the flat, but I mean, Bijan could run pretty much the entire route tree. I mean, very dynamic as a pass catcher. So when you have that, when you take away that element from him, it's a lot like Jahmyr Gibbs was for us last year. He was a bigger version. They're the same style of running back, but what type of impact will that have on Alabama's offense down the stretch? Now, granted, Bama's used to not have a pass catcher from the running back, but I think it could have a huge impact on Texas and Stark's game plan.
Absolutely. So those two plays, change the feel of that game. But we do know Ears would be there. Bijan won't. But we've had all this time to prepare and see what Ears like to do, and know that they don't have Bijan in there. So we'll see how that goes. Virgil Williams saying that the tight end impact that we were talking about as we were going to break was twofold for him. Says help out in the blocking, and that is run blocking and pass blocking, I would assume, and then better route designs for them in the passing game to help Miro out is the difference maker. When you look at this tight end position for me, as I was saying, I think that's the impact position. I talked yesterday about how to use the running back as the chip blocker. Okay. Guess what? You can do the same thing with the tight end. You have the tight end. I saw this design quite a bit by LSU. I hope we have this in our game plan. LSU has put the triple option in with the tight end, Xavier. The tight end comes across in motion. They fake it to the running back, or not fake it, but they do a read with the running back, like the dive play. That's the fullback. The running back is the fullback in the old triple option. The quarterback starts to roll out. Now, the tight end starts out on the right side of the line. At the snap of the ball, they're reading the running back. The tight end comes across in motion. They read the running back, so it looks like the tight end's coming around to lead block. But what happens is if he gives it, because it's the right read, boom. But what happens is this, Xavier. The defensive end is influenced by the tight end. Okay? So as the tight end comes out, the defensive end widens because he don't want to get hooked by the tight end. Okay? If he doesn't widen out, the receiver takes his guy off the ball. Quarterback pulls it. Now the quarterback is on the corner, and he's either going to pitch it. I mean, he's either going to keep it if the defensive end or the linebacker comes up, whichever play, based on their defense and which guy they're reading, comes up to take the quarterback. He dumps it off to the the tight end as the triple option. If they take the tight end, the quarterback keeps it. They just didn't hit. They missed it a couple times, like threw it over his head. I hope we have that. Here's the other play that you use it on, X. You have the tight end at the end line, and that defensive end gets ready to come off on Caden Proctor. Guess what the tight end does? He steps down and he just jabs that guy. So guess what the linebacker does? He drops because it looks like what? Pass pro. You run the screen play to the tight end. Or you have the tight end just turn around, running back dumps it to him. The quarterback dumps it to him and he runs. So you can use that. You can use the tight end in line, off the line. It's the exact same way you use the running back. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. Any comments on that before we get Digger in on the Digger is the drive-by guy. Yeah, Digger is our drive-by guy. But you got anything before we bring him in?
No, I mean, there's so many ways to get these guys involved, and I do believe tight ends will have a huge impact on this game, as you and Virgil have talked about in the run game standpoint and being threats in the routes, especially non-black man. He is a nightmare matchup for linebackers and safety.
Yeah, and the other thing about the tight ends is a lot of their routes are right in front of the quarterback's face. So tight ends are friends. They're bigger targets, and a lot of their routes are right in front of the quarterback's face. So you're able to see them. You're able to see them a lot easier in your read progression. They're a natural target. So hopefully, and plus we know the other reason, I don't know how I forgot to say this, is we know how Tommy Rees has used tight ends in the past. So maybe we end up with something like that here at Alabama. Get a little bit of that Georgia flavor. Hey, let's go to Digger. Digger, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
You keep saying drive by. I call this radio station 4 times a day.
You call. You only call. You call. I call you drive by. I call you drive by because you called me like right as I was going off the air. Now you have to remember you called in and it was like literally I had like 30 seconds and you said, now hey Martin, you need to understand that if Jalen Milroe isn't starting in the Texas game, there's an Austin alumni for the Houston Cougars that already has a check. Him and Holmgren gonna be there at the game waiting on him, and then you hung up. I mean, that's a drive-by.
Yeah, well, don't worry about Milrose. He's staying put now that he's starting, right? Are we right on that, or you think he should have? I don't think he's leaving now.
I don't think he's going anywhere now. I think he's good.
All right. Okay.
What you got for us?
The point I was trying to make there is that if he didn't start, he was out of it.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, now real quick, the point I'm trying to make about the tight end. What's your tight end's name? Blacksmith, Blackmeyer, Elijah.
Not Black.
We have not Black.
Huh?
Not Black is one of our tight ends.
Okay, that guy doesn't block.
Nope. He does. He can block
if
a
he's
little
out
bit.
on the field, you know he's running a route. Danny Lewis blocks. I know Danny Lewis. I've seen him play. He's a much bigger tight end. We know.
That's why
your first tight end is not going to block, and if he does, then we have the advantage because he doesn't block well. Period. I saw.
Hey, that's why we. Hey, that's
already confirmed by the game.
That's why we put him out there as like the fourth wide receiver or the third wide receiver, so that he
exactly, and he's pretty much like a wide receiver too.
So we put him on a corner or a safety. He don't have to be a great blocker then, but we may run it then though.
He's going out for a route.
We'll run it now.
Right there.
Hey, see, listen, Digger.
Now that it's a passing play.
That's what we want y'all to think. See, Digger, we set y'all up. You see what I'm saying? We did that so that all week y'all been watching film and say, okay, guys, when number 84 comes in, it's a pass play. So they're gonna say, hey, not Black's in. It's a pass, and y'all gonna jump on that pass, and guess what? Boom, we're gonna run it because everybody's.
Oh, I know this much. He's not blocking. I guarantee you that. Okay, that's your tip right there. But the point I was trying to make here, let me explain something to you real quick. Okay, you keep excusing about this play last year, which is fine. You said you didn't play your best game. Fine. We'll
15 penalties.
Accept it. Right. It's not like we made you do this. Okay? You're accepting that you didn't play your best game. Fine, we get it. Okay? The point I'm trying to make here is that what is Saban's record at home against non-conference?
75-0.
No, he lost 5 Okay, non-conference, he lost one, okay? But, okay, what is it the last 25, 30 games? He's only lost 5
ULM
games.
Monroe. He lost to ULM Monroe.
Okay, the point I'm trying to make is that if you're going to beat Saban, you're going to need a quote-unquote transcendent quarterback.
Yep.
Okay? Matt Kelly, Cam Newton, Johnny Manziel, Joe Burrow. That's the only way you're going to beat Saban in your stadium. What were they doing? What were they doing? What were they doing? They were passing the bejesus at the ball. Expect that. We'll have a lot of empty sets. Okay, and granted, we didn't hit. We went 0 for 6 in 15 yards, really 0 for 7 in 15 yards or longer. Okay, short and intermediate passes. And guess what? Like I said yesterday to Christian, I dare you to blitz. He's 80% against the blitz. It's a lot easier for him. I don't know why, knowing that the blitz coming. So I'm just letting you know.
Digger? You know why it's easier? He's well coached, and when you blitz, there's always a hot read. And that if he's that good, that means that Sark has coached him and prepared him well. That if a blitz comes, this is the hot guy that they cannot cover. That's what that means.
Okay. Now the other thing I wanted to say,
I might take the break, so
can
go ahead
all
and wrap
agree-
it up.
not-
Go ahead and get your thoughts in. Go ahead.
I'll wrap it up. He's not a transcendent quarterback, which means he's not going to surpass his expectations. Okay? All I'm asking for is that we cover. So show a little class when y'all beat us, all right?
All right, nigga. I appreciate you, man. But hey,
That's
but you
all
did
I'm
bring out a
asking.
couple good points.
Don't be like LSU. Okay? Yeah, just letting you go.
All right, hey man, coming back on the other side, we'll put the finishing touches on this edition of the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaXSports. Hey, if you hadn't got your predictions in, post them on Facebook on the live stream, or call us 205-342-9904.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things looking pretty good on the roadways on this Friday morning. Now, of course, if you see conditions folks need to hear about, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Come grab an amazing deal at Townsend Nissan. Offers like these, most new units are discounted from $2,000 to $8,000. Don't wait. Shop Townsend Nissan today. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. Two men, 38-year-old Alan Brent Faulkner and 32-year-old Joshua Dale Salters, arrested this week, charged with felonies in Tuscaloosa County for impersonating police officers in separate incidents. Both tried to pull drivers over. One followed one driver home. Drivers and citizens encouraged to stay alert, make sure the person that's trying to pull you over actually is a law enforcement officer. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage. It's free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
On the next Inside the Locker Room with Coach Wimp Sanderson and Barry Sanderson.
Tune in Friday, 7:30. Coach Jack Crow will join us. We'll break down this Alabama game with Coach Crow. Also, 8:15, we'll talk sports with our friend, Coach Sonny Smith.
Inside the Locker Room, weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Is there anyone out there who's a fan of Sticker Shock? Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Keep those hands down. And I'm sure you will, because no one is a fan of Sticker Shock. But while I'm talking stickers, I'm going to raise my hand as the #1 critic of add-on side stickers. Some dealers call them price addendums or adjustments. Side stickers are adjustments, all right. They adjust your price to another level. The worst part? It's the dealer sticker, not the factory. Tuscaloosa Hyundai will never charge over the manufacturer's suggested retail price on any new Hyundais. No exceptions. And no add-on side stickers. Does that make us exceptional? If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove, TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
Connecting one-to-one was the support I needed.
I was helped by group therapy. Finding the right physician made a difference in my mental health.
For many, feelings that lead to suicidal thoughts are not just a phase or simply a mood. They're signs someone may need mental health support. Help is available 24/7. Talking about my true feelings changed my life. Saved it, really. There is no shame in sharing how you feel. Call 988 and be connected to a trained mental health counselor. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Mental Health.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
There's a strike at the 30. Xavier Worthy at the 31. Card in trouble. Card better get rid of it. Card does. He's out of the tackle box, so that's an incomplete pass. Great pressure by Kool-Aid. Young.
Great pressure. Great pressure by Kool-Aid. We just had Digger call us and say he dare us to blitz. Xavier, he dare us to blitz. Well, Kool-Aid got there on that blitz, so we'll see if Steele has the metal in him. To come after the quarterback. Mark John says those QBs he mentioned ran the ball on us too. And that is a great point, that those guys not only were elite passers, they also had the ability to extend plays and make plays on the move. And I will give it to him. He did not put Ewers in the category with Cam Newton and Johnny Manziel and Joe Burrows. He literally stopped short of saying you have to have an elite quarterback play to beat us, and he said we don't have that. So I give him credit that he said he just hoped they cover. So real quick, a couple scores. Virgil Williams sends 45-20. Bama 435 yards. If you haven't got your score in, go ahead and get that score posted in live chat. If you have not given us a score prediction for Texas, if you want to get in on it, only a couple minutes left to get in on the phone line. You can add that in before we get off the air. X, looking at this Alabama game, keys to victory in terms of what you have, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think ball control is going to be an important one. I feel like we'll see a similar split to what we saw last week. It was 424 pass. I think that's going to be an integral part of the game, and that the chains are off of Jalen so that he knows he can run when needed, not make his reads, everything, but run when needed, as well as defensively. I believe this secondary is older in some parts, more athletic in others. And because of that, they'll be able to hang with these receivers better. And, of course, I believe that the linebackers will play a big part as well with covering the tight end jet, as well as the blitzes that we run, bringing Lawson, bringing Q Robinson, and, of course, the edge guys with Braswell and Turner.
Yep. MHS 0407 Digger needs to get off the moonshine. Another crazy Texas fan. Let's get to the Alabama One hotline. Philip on the line with a game prediction. Philip, got to get you in and out real quick. What you got for us? Congratulations, by the way, on the win last week. What you got for us?
I don't feel great about it, Martin. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I just don't feel great about it. I'm going with Texas, 37-21.
37-21, Texas. Wow.
Yeah. I don't feel great about
it. All right. What you got for Alabama total yards?
Let's see. I'm going to say 422.
For Alabama?
422.
And we lose? If we
lose.
get 422 yards and got 21 points, we turn the ball over in the red zone 3 times.
We are. I fear their ability to hit a couple of really long pass plays. That's what I
But
fear.
if we get 422, we'll have over 21 points, Philip. I promise you. Hey, Philip, but hey, listen. I don't ever pull against my callers, but I hope you wrong, dude. I hope you are I hope you are a flat out loser, Philip.
Martin, I finished the Alabama in '83. I hope I'm wrong as all get out.
Thanks, Philip. Congratulations, man.
See
See
you,
ya. All right, let me give you my thought real quick. Alabama had 15 penalties against Texas, 17 against Tennessee, and 9 against LSU. That was the 3 close games last year. 2 of them ended in losses. Alabama has to get rid of the penalties. So the keys to victory is no penalties, no turnovers, or limit the penalties, limit the turnovers. And of course, I think, I'll tell you my thoughts really quick. This is 2.0. Texas is back, whatever. They're not back. They had a good game against us last year because we had a bad game. If you look at the game and how it started, it makes you kind of a little nervous. But I don't think that Alabama needs to fear. We know what Ears has to bring to the table. With that, I think the Alabama Crimson Tide on the legs and arms of our quarterback, our new OC, new DC, new QB will help the Tide roll to a 2-score lead. I got Alabama winning by 2+ scores, but I called it 34-24. Won't be surprised if it's a little bit bigger gap than that. But I got Alabama 34, Texas 24. What you got, X?
Yeah, I went a little old school. I went back to the 2009 National Championship game score of 37-21, and I believe that the quarterback play, the offensive line play will be able to dominate this Texas front, and we'll be able to take advantage as well as getting pressure on Ears. As you said, we know who he is.
And what do you have for total yards?
I've got Bama 441.
Yeah, and I got Bama at 387. And by the way, you had 4 what?
441.
And by the way, you and Philip had the exact same scores, just opposite. All right, man. Have a good one. Hey, listen, Bama fans, Alabama's going to play a cleaner game. They're at home. You, the fans, will be a difference maker in this game. The tight ends will be the impact position. Who you got for player of the game, X?
I'm going with Jalen Milroe for the second week in a row. I think he's going to be the true difference
maker, Jalen Milroe as well. Hey, listen, thanks for listening to the Martin Houston Show. We'll be back on Monday to break down this game with the good, bad, and ugly. And Kennington Smith will join us. Hey, join us at Harvest Church for our reclamation service that kicks off on Sunday morning. Harvest Church, we're loving God, loving people. We got our revival service, reclamation service 23 starting on Sunday. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide out there, everybody. Go take down those Longhorns. We'll talk about it on Monday right here on your home for Alabama Sports.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.